Back on the pneumatic trainer today, and I've done videos on wiring it directly to the PLC, and right away several of y'all asked about IO link options, and yeah, I think I have that worked out. I wanted to get the basics worked out first, so I got two of these TBL S3 8DXPs from Turck. So I'll do one of them for inputs and one of them for outputs. These are not IO-Link masters. These are IO-Link hubs. So it's going to allow us to collect 16 digital in or outputs. And then I'm going to put them up on the same FEN20 that we typically use. A little messy right now. I'm getting a new plate made though, and all that'll pretty much mount right over here. And so, yeah, I just went ahead and grabbed some connectors. I got everything in. I got a balled up mess. And yeah, I think I'm ready to configure some stuff. So I'm going to start by assigning an IP address to our Turck FEN20. Kind of debated on our standard trainer. We already have an IO-Link option for it here. And it has two IO-Link devices and then two standard sensors, so we can understand, one, the difference in these three sensors, applications for them, but also that you could put discrete sensors on IO-Link. So I could have taken these two loose, plugged those two in, and then managed to wire these back over to here, but that seemed a little quirky. So I'm going to have its own dedicated IO-Link on this one. So we're going to hit Discover Device. And we see it's on 192.168.113 because that's the standard IO-Link IP address for our trainers. But this is going to need a different one, so I'm going to make it 21. Now, while I'm at it, I might as well show you the Turck doesn't quite work the way you would hope it would. You'd hope you just hit the replace address, and you'd make sure that's what you wanted to replace. And we could go in here and go 192.168.121. And we could execute replace, but nope, it says command not supported. So on the Turck module, we do the discover device, but then we go down here and we enable DHCP. And it does successfully do that. Now, usually we just want to quickly do it again. So if we go again, then initially it looks like, nope, that didn't work. But the FEN20 does require a power cycle. Then we go back and hit Discover Device again. We realize I jerked the Ethernet cable out while I was doing that. And I go up, and now it says DHCP Discovery. And then I can change its IP address to 21. Works beautifully, and press OK to set to static. So I get a feeling probably the same person who wrote that chip probably had something to do with this power flex, because it has the same deal. You have to enable, actually in this one, boot P, and then it requires a power cycle. So one little extra step. And now we should be ready to check this out. And I always love to start on the Turck modules at the web browser. So I'm just going to go 192.168.1. Whoops. Got a 1 in there, shouldn't be. There we go. 192.168.121. Well, poo, that didn't work. Why did that not work? Well, hit the basics first. We should go try to ping it. And over here, that's going to be PING space 192.168.1.21. Huh. Well, darn it. Well, yeah, it's not going to work because I have it plugged. I have the IPE plugged into it. I didn't plug the Ethernet cable in. So we'll plug an Ethernet cable in, and then I'll plug it in back here on my Ethernet switch. Now we'll go ahead and hit that up arrow and try to ping again. Oh, it's look at that. This even magically starts to work over here. It's amazing how good all that works when you actually plug the cables in. And so now we'll go ahead and log into this. And then over here on this side, right away we should have some data. Actually, let's go to IODD configurator first. And port 1 says no device connected. Port 2 has a device connected. Well, I need to go ahead and move these right away because initially I was going to, I was telling you earlier, I was going to try to plug this in the existing one. That's why I kind of had that way, but no. I need to make our inputs port 1 and our outputs port 2. Should have been recording during that part because, I mean, here's what I love is, I mean, there wasn't even a refresh required. It automatically updated to move those up. You know, and I've never actually used where maybe we custom identify these, but this would be a good time to do that because these are going to be named the same thing. But the first thing we want to do is we want to web search for the IODD file. Y'all know how much I love acronyms. Hit that web search button. And there we go. Now we got magic parameters down here. And this one's going to be our output module. So I don't know how to exactly do, well, anything with this yet. So let's see what we actually can do with this. We're probably going to start with, and it's using outputs instead of inputs first. Let's see, process data. There's all the inputs for it. There's all the outputs for it. So none of our inputs are currently working. And if I look down here, well, no, this one. That does not coincide with what I have here. Oh, because I'm on the wrong one. We'll go up there to this one. Let's go for the inputs first because, well, we ought to have some action already. So I go to process data. Oh, there we go. So looks like these line up nicely with the indicators I have on here. Sweet. So now we got to go figure out how to configure our outputs because I assume right now, well, you know, we're assuming it's this. Let's just try it first. Is it as simple as I can turn on an output already? Go to process data, and I'm going to try to turn on output 7, mainly because there's no wire on output 7. And I'm going to hit that right button. Oh, well, that was just incredibly too easy. Turn it off. You know, I'm sure at some point I should really read the instructions on these, but they just make them so intuitive. I think we're ready to go. This was the program I was working in, so I'm going to right-click A2 Ethernet, new module. And I'm going to use the generic module for this, so generic. And we're going to make sure we grab the generic Ethernet module and create. And I'm going to call this my IO link Pneumatic. And very important, I got to remember to make my data type an INT. Seems like that bites me nearly every time I do this. And its IP address can be 192.168.1.21. And then over here, I can go to documentation, Ethernet IP, and this tells me what I need. So we're going to be assembly instances 103, 104, and our sizes are going to be 103 and 67. So we'll put in 103, size 103, 104, size 67. And okay. Uh-oh. Forgot the configuration, just stick a 1 there. We're not going to put a size on it. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and download this. I'm not done yet, but just a quick reality check on my mapping, and then we'll probably go offline and do some find and replace, and this thing ought to be back going. So I'm going to go communications, who active. And in this case, I do need to download. Oh, it's got that robot trainer program in it. I think I saved it. That's famous last words, though. So we're going to go ahead and go to Studio 5000 because, yeah, right now I'm using this single trainer to develop this pneumatic trainer and also this robot trainer. We're kind of working them up side by side. So, yeah, I need to go over here and grab the robot trainer. And then I'm going to go communication 2 active over here. And I'll upload that program. Actually, I just need to go online. I don't need to upload. What am I thinking? Then I can hit the save button, because that's what happened last time is I didn't hit that save button and I lost all my robot parameters. Okay, so I got those in there. We'll close that back out. And now we're ready to download our pneumatic trainer back to this one. And then we'll go ahead and click yes to put it back in run mode. Oh no, and I have a microscopic yellow flashing triangle down here. What a bummer. So we will go ahead and right click it and go to properties, which also, if you didn't know it, nobody ever does it, but if you drag this little piece up right here, it also tells you the error. But, oh, and I see it already. I put a 130 right here. That was supposed to be a 103. And it is grayed out, so I have to go offline to fix this. So communications, go offline, change that to a 103. Okay. And then communications, who active, and download. But yeah, this normally stays really collapsed down so we can see a bigger view of this left-hand pane. But yeah, that does give you a little more additional info. And now it looks like we have a nice little happy module over here. And there you go. I'm going to collapse this back down because I don't need it now. And I want to see what's going on down here. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go check out my tags, make sure I have them lined up the way I think they should be. So I'm going to go to IO Pneumatic, I, data. And into, we do see some funky data here. And that should be what we're looking for. We're going to open it up. And then we'll go back over here and make sure I understand the pattern. Oops. Oh, it's over here. It was sitting here on the screen. And so according to that, 24 through 31, that doesn't 100% make sense to me. Length 1. Wow, you can get overcurrent information. You can get some cool info on this. Oh, I'm scrolling off. According to that, it should be in the next module over. I don't believe that's so, though. So I'm just going to look over here at the pattern that's in it right now. Mainly in this little section. Oops, I'm scrolling the wrong direction. This little section right here, really. Whoops, that was a right click when I left click just so I can keep it at bearings. And I'm going to move this cylinder. So I have a 1011. No doubt. 12 is my retract. If I look down here at my little mess right now, that's number 4. So this one is the retract. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in a couple of these. First, I really wasn't understanding the lineup of this, and I just realized it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me swap some cables. Yeah, I was questioning the pattern before, but now that I actually have the cylinder or the sensors in the correct order, it makes perfect sense. So now we need to go figure out our outputs. So first our outputs, they're going to start at 0, and then we're on port number, oops, went to the wrong place there. Port number 2. So we'll go, I'm sorry, channel 1, because they have 0 over here. So outputs. And this will be there, so it should be 18. So now we'll go over here to IO:0, and we're going to go down and find number, if I get it open, number 18. We'll hit the arrow by it. And yeah, it says this should be output 0. Now before I do this, I'm going to turn that off just in case. Then I'm going to look over here at these lights, and I put a 1 right there. And I get C0 there. And I get my extend cylinder there. All right, so now I think I got all this worked out. So I should be able to go to communications, and we're going to go offline because now we're going to have that nice find and replace feature. So this was a retract switch. I probably should start at the beginning. That would be the reasonable thing to do. So we had the extend switch, which was local :1 IPT 09 dot data. And that now is what? Open this one up. And that's in number 2. So the extend is now 2.8. So we're going to hit that Control H again. And we'll paste that there. And we're going to get the extend procs. Control C. Oops, you know, this is not going to work because can I just click over here and it not disappear? Oh, there it goes. I didn't know you could do that. All right, so 9, we'll go to 2.8. We're going to wrap this. We're going to do it in all routines. Why not? And then we're going to hit the replace all. Oh, I'm just going to pause button. I think you'll get the point. Okay, so now the moment of truth, and it's got to work because I got cupcakes. It's Amber's birthday. I need to run and get them, but I should be able to turn switch 3. And there we go. So now we have an IO link option for a pick and place. I'll probably get Mary Bruce to get the cable shrinker out and see if we can, well, it was working until I did that. Oh, this has the energy monitoring setup in it. I've been recording videos actually showing how air leaks will cost you a certain amount of money. And it's been fascinating the amount of money that it will. But yeah, turn it off, do it again. Yeah, so now we just need some super shorter cables and get our new bracket. This is going to be ready to go. But yeah, it's Amber's birthday, so I got to go. You ought to go wish her a happy birthday.